Welcome to HDCLive, the open mic format where your outer authority will be heard. Just lean back, listen, and enjoy this live recording.
Meredith, we wait a full round now. We still have 50 minutes at least. Let's see. And the topic of today that Meredith brought forward here is the relationship dynamics actually, and how this works out. And I just want to give you the opportunity to share a bit about your view on that, Meredith, how that came actually to you, and what you would love to share, or what you would love to hear from us.
Yeah, sure. A few things came up in the sharing, surrounding the topic. Essentially, I notice a lot of people think that relationships is just a romantic relationship, but this is about all relationships and entering into all aura connections with people. I didn't actually include any of the quotes I wrote from another lecture that I listened to from Ra called Generator Sex. And it's actually not really about sex. It's more about just the energy between the generator and what the generator's here to do energetically in their aura. And in that particular lecture, Ra talks about how really all relationships are about a mutually agreed upon truth. And if you don't have that, then you're just setting yourself up for failure. And in the way I think abstractly, a lot of the things that I see that I want to point out or notice because I want to point corrections in them are actually individual things. And so they're things that the collective isn't even talking about. And so I want to talk about them before they even get into the collective, and the collective begins distorting them. And it starts at language. And I think that that's one of the biggest things in that initial contract or agreement in a relationship with somebody is that mutually agreed upon truth. And if you're trying to make something work and you both have different realities, it's just going to be a dumpster fire in the end. And so mutually agreed upon truths change in the moment because we're in this space-time situation where we're constantly moving on our line of geometry. And I actually had a funny realization yesterday about my line of geometry, and it went back to when I was 15 years old and I was in my geometry class, and my geometry teacher was and I was always really good in math, so math was never an issue, but for whatever reason geometry just blew my mind up. And my teacher was from Zimbabwe, and his name was Mr. Jaji, and I wish that I could talk to Mr. Jaji right now because this kind of blowing my mind thing was pretty cool. But at the time I was learning new terminology, and he also was very difficult for me to understand. And make a long story short, one day we came into class and he had us all walking around the school, measuring with our feet to feet, walking around the school, our entire class. And we were all like, why are we doing this? We don't understand. And I'm thinking in my mind, this doesn't make any sense. Our feet are all different sizes. And so I didn't understand it. And then all of a sudden yesterday it hit me that Mr. Jaji was having us walk on our line of geometry. And it was really cool because it kind of all came together in that point. And I don't think it was meant for me to understand at that time anyway. But I think that one of the most, I guess one of the biggest gaps in the whole relationship dynamic is that, and you even see it when people are asked, like, what's your, your favorite thing, and the first thing they go to is when someone told me they loved me. And so there's this super deep homogenization in that the favorite thing we have in our experience is with someone else. Yet we don't even have a mutually agreed upon truth with those other people, and we don't even see them. And sometimes we'll never be seen. And that's okay, because that's not what this is about. Like, everybody's seeing you. But yeah, I think that all of those topics or all of those points, that really stood out to me from Raw were about respecting the other person's aura, and entering into things in a way that is in response to your inner authority. Other things I'll hear is, I did XYZ because I had no choice. And it's like, no, you're conflating right now and gaslighting your inner authority. You have a response that you can make in this space. You're moving forward. You don't have a choice in that, but you do have a choice in making a decision with what is in front of you, or not, or don't respond if it's not right for you. So yeah, those are just some really basic fundamentals for relationships, in that we go into them with these expectations and we place these restrictions around things that don't need them. And then we don't look at the things that actually do have the restrictions on them. I think you're
Thomas, we cannot hear you.
Thanks for letting me know. Yes, I just said I sensed this phrase of reclaiming our responsibility, right? Like the responsibility of making decisions with our inner authority, especially if you're a generator. You can reclaim responsibility for your response. I mean, you do it anyways, right? But if you just walk through life without really getting access to your inner authority, it's just a waste. I would say it's just a waste. I mean, if you can't see that, if you will be blind. You can't see the other if you can't see yourself. And so yes, I absolutely agree with that. I mean, it's so much about awareness as the first step, Otherwise, there won't be some shared truth if you can't see this very core principle of your own inner responsiveness. And it can be such a beautiful thing when you really dive into it, when you really claim this responsibility that you do all the time and really live it and see it and express it like openly, wholeheartedly, right? So yeah, there's such a potential here for all the generators out there to hold space, to be responsible for those people around you, especially for those non-energy types, to hold space. Because when you respond to your inner authority in a very yes, and you really are connected with this, there's no effort in creating space and holding space. So there's a high chance here, and but still not many people have an ease with this one. Yeah. So this is what just came up with my inner yes, and would love to hear more sharings on this very, very deep topic, because it's about connecting with ourselves and everyone else.
Yeah. If I would like to share something.
Yes.
That's a topic which is actually popping up the last 2 weeks a lot on my Instagram, because I get a lot of messages, hey, you are single, or which kind of relationships you're living in, and blah, 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 blah. So I also had a lot of different kind of relationships, even monogamy, polyamory, polygamy, blah, 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 blah. So I went through to all the stuff, and always I could see that in a relationship, depends how you call it, you're limiting it. That's the first point. And the second point, what I mostly saw, and maybe it's my judgeability or judging, people give up the responsibility. People give up the responsibility for them's need, for them's what they want, for them, for this how they feel. And in the end, you are standing there and you try to coordinate something what you are not supposed to do. So the thing, what I also shared on my Instagram is, if you are not able to have a relationship with yourself, you will be not able to have a relationship with someone else. So if you don't know who you are and who you are functioning in your natural being, you will never be able to share yourself as that what you are. You are constantly in this kind of condition of that what you think you are, or what the mind is telling you, how you have to react and how you have to respond on something or someone. You will end up in a toxic relationship. That is why I tried now, for me, out of my opinion, to see it not anymore as a relationship, to give it a new name, maybe, to call it a connection. Because in a connection is less a responsibility for someone else's needs. It is more the naturally symbiotic connection between a human and another human. It can be also a connection between a dog and a human, or a dog and a cat. But there's no relation and related to someone. That is what I would like to share in that way, because that is a really deep topic, definitely. Yeah.
Thank you. Absolutely it is. And so many layers that play into this as well, like when you're talking about Benta, when you're talking about tribal aspects. So yeah, there's a lot that plays on top of the basic inner connection with ourselves, and then it layer after layer, right? So yes, I agree. I see something here as well for myself, and I will open the round as well for anyone who gets in a yes to jump in here and share something out of your own life in regards of this topic. So I'll wait a little bit. Let's see.
Well, something that comes to mind in response to relating versus connecting. So we can see that connecting can happen just by being an aura. You have two people that are next to each other, and maybe there's an electromagnetic or a compromise or a dominance, or however they connect. And yet it's without awareness. It could just be this rough connection, or it could be a nice connection, but it's not really relating or a real relationship until the awareness is brought in. Bringing it back to even a mutual truth or an agreed upon truth. That is something that happens within the awareness of the people who are connecting. And that brings a much deeper connection through relationship and agreement. And, well, naturally, I think the only way to do that is by following the inner authority, because only then can the mind be free from trying to tell the body what to do, or, oh, maybe they'll like this. Oh, they won't like that. I shouldn't do that. All this kind of self-censorship that goes on. So many people don't even recognize that they are holding back their own truth. And yet the best we can do is role model. We can follow our own inner authority. And that's the demonstration. That's the memory. That's the connection. That's the real relating. So, there's a thought.
a deep one, bro. Thank you so much. Beautiful. So, anyone else? Tell us, please, you're right.
I always had a deep, deep, deep desire to study, understand, grasp, investigate, experience, ponder on what we call relationships, connections, bonds, whatever you want to call it. It's just, for me, it's just a word describing the two different forces come together. And yeah, they may relate, they may not relate, but it's still in that moment, it is a connection, a bond, a relationship. And what I see the most, or one of the biggest issues in any connection, doesn't matter if it's a connection to your friend, to your mother, to your sibling, to your partner, to your girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever, is that we always seek for emotional validation instead of looking for love, if we even need to look for love. But we don't seek for stillness. We seek for action. We seek for crisis. We seek for passion. We seek for need and providing and tribal and, Zugehörigkeit in English. I don't know how. Right now I cannot remember the word. But, this whole planet is so distracted by emotional false things that we think is love. I mean, I'm a vessel of love. I would even say and go so far that I know what love is. I cannot explain it to you, but I know what it is. And I can say it's not heavy and extroverted and explosive or colorful. It can be. But the core of what love is for me is, for example, when I sit with somebody that I even don't notice and I feel comfortable. The people that you don't notice, those are the best relationships you have. You don't even know you have them, but you have them. They are all around you. You have a relationship to the tree. You have a relationship to a stone. You have a relationship to your neighbor that is sleeping next to you, maybe in your aura. You have a relationship to that all the time. And the relationships where your body, your nervous system can really chill and really feel comfortable, where your intellect is kind of drawn, where you're seen. It doesn't matter if you're project, a generator, manifest, a reflector, where you are seen for what you are without, proving or jumping or doing or running or whatever the case may be. This is the relationship, real relationship, what is meant to be from life for us. Then we can relate. There's no other way, because it's so much resonance and so much harmony. You cannot deny it. But what we're looking for is dissonance. We're looking for the punk rock. We don't look for Mozart and classical music that, keeps us flowing. We look for the, hard stuff, drum and bass, that gives us the kick and the adrenaline rush and love and ooh, That's my experience and my perspective to that. And I, could talk for hours about that, but, compressed.
Yeah. So, yes, tell us. Thank you so much for sharing your wisdom on this very deep, wide topic. And I know we can all talk about hours for that and go deeper and deeper, but I would close it up here and let it sink in and sit in for this very deep thing. And yeah, if you have any more things to share about, you can do this also in our channel within the comments. And yeah, we would love to continue this on next week. I wish you all the best and have a good day and a good night. Bye, everyone.